Do you want to say hi to the people? Say hi, people. Let me get your camera ready. Gotta clean those eye boogies. All right, you good? Hey everyone, if you're new here, welcome. My name is Keisha. This is Jovi, and she is probably going to be running around a lot in this video today. But if you are new here, welcome. I'm so glad you're here. Today, I'm going to be talking about the 22 books that I set out to read in 2022 and recap whether or not I actually read them. First year that I did the books to read in a year challenge where everybody always does like the number in the year. So last year it was the 22 books for 2022, and this year it will be 23 books for 2023. So before I recorded that video and did my 23 books for 2023, Jovi, I knew this was going to be a problem. She wants to lay down under a blanket. So hold on just a second. Okay. Look, we got a book blankie, so it'll match the video, okay? Okay, now, here's your hedgehog. Can you not squeak it or do anything else you're not supposed to do? Okay, there you go. So like I was saying, before I do the newest video, I wanted to do a recap of the books that I wanted to read last year to see if I actually read those books. So I do have the video queued up from last year, and I'm gonna quickly go through this just to see what those books were. I will play this along with you, but I'll probably skip through some parts. Why is she so cute? Why are you cute? Okay, sorry for all the distractions with Jovi, but she's adorable and it cannot be helped. So anyways, I just wanted to go through this with you guys to kind of see how well I do and see if I can do better this year. So I'm going to go through and tally all of the books that I've read, so you'll be able to see here with me what books I set out to read, maybe why. I'm not sure how much or how little of this I'm going to show, but I did want to do a quick recap. If you hear anything in the background, it is a little bit of a rainy, gloomy day out, but I thought it would be a good idea, even though I don't have the best lighting, to go ahead and film a video that was just kind of more chill. So if you hear any rain ambiance in the background, you're welcome. All right, let's go ahead and see what the books were. Hey everyone, and welcome to a new video. If you're new here, welcome. My name is Keisha, and today I'm going to be talking to you about 22 books that I hope to read in 2022. So I've never done this video before, but I've seen a lot of people do it, and essentially the goal is, for me anyways, to read 22 books on my physical TBR. I own a lot of books and I'm always accumulating new books, and I feel like it's time that I read more of my physical TBR versus buying more books to read. Now that's not to say that I'm not going to buy books in the new year, because I just don't think that that's doable for me as a book addict and a reader and someone who loves to buy books. I just don't think it's possible for me to not buy any. That is the same for this year. The goal is not to not buy any books, but to read my shelves. So all the books for 2023 are going to be books that I own as well. I'm going to fast forward a little bit. Also, this is obviously a little bit sped up. So let's just go ahead and see if we can get to the first book. Get into it. Let's go ahead and start off with a genre that I do not read as often. Usually I only read the genre around Christmas time, and that is romance. So I do have a few romance books on my shelves, and I do need to read quite a few of them. Two of them that have been on my shelves the longest that I really need to get to are The Unhoneymooners by Christina Lauren. The Unhoneymooners by Christina Lauren. Okay, so we're gonna go with did not read, and read. So The Unhoneymooners is still sitting on my unread shelves. I did not get to it. I did start it, but I wasn't in the mood to read it, so I put it back down. So far we're not off to a great start. Lauren and The Flat Share by Beth O'Leary. So I also did not read The Flat Share, so we are 2 for 2, did not read. Okay, let's see what's next. Next on my list is a little bit more normal of a thing for me, and that is 3 thrillers that are on my shelves. The first one is Have You Seen Me by Kate White. I did read that one. I read Have You Seen Me by Kate White, and I gave it 3 stars. I was a little bit disappointed. It was kind of predictable for me, and it just wasn't the best book. I honestly don't even remember what it was about, but I read it, so that's a good sign. And I also have All These Beautiful Strangers by Elizabeth Clefoth. I think this is a young adult. Okay, so I actually unhauled All These Beautiful Strangers. I decided that I did not want to read it because I'm not sure that I want to read a lot of like mystery, thriller, young adult books because I don't think those are really my cup of tea. With young adult, I'm a little bit more picky with what I like. I like some young adult romances, and then I like a lot of young adult horror. So I am going to put this under did not read, but I'm also going to put a tally under unhaul because I decided to unhaul it, which I feel like is still getting it off my shelves.
And the last thriller I have is Watching You by Lisa Jewell.
I still have not read Watching You by Lisa Jewell. So far, we're not doing too great. I have 4 that I did not read and 1 that I've read. I don't know if I'm going to get to this one this year or not. I need to because I just would like to figure out if I like Lisa Jewell or not. I'm not really sure if she's going to be a thriller author that I enjoy. But like I said, I'm never going to know until I pick this one up.
Next, I have a couple of historical fiction. I do not read enough historical fiction. I would like to read more historical fiction. I have liked what I've read for the most part, but it just doesn't pique my interest.
I think I read one of these.
It doesn't draw me in as much like initially, so it's hard for me to pick it up. But I do have 2 on my shelves that I need to get to. One of those is The Tattooist of Auschwitz by Heather Morris.
I read The Tattooist of Auschwitz. What did I rate that? I think I gave it like 3.5 or 4 stars. Wasn't one of my favorite historical fictions, but I thought it was good. It's just a little bit slow, but I mean, I don't think it's the book's fault. I think it was a personal taste thing, but that is one that I have read.
Next book is Where the Crawdads Sing by Delia Owens.
Okay, I am going to count this one as read. Now, I did not finish this book. I am not a fan of Where the Crawdads Sing. I know what happens. I know the story and everything now, but the book just did not hold my interest. I read 100 pages of this, and then I passed it along to my mom and my grandmother, who both read it and enjoyed it. But it did take my grandmother a little bit getting into it too. So I just don't think it's the type of writing or story that I really enjoy. So I did read this. I'm going to count it as read, but I did DNF it.
Then I have a Christmas book on this list, and if you know, you know. I have had The Afterlife of Polly Chase.
Aha! I read this and I DNF'd it, but I read it. I did not like it, but I read it. So we're going to count it as read. I have always thought that I was going to love this one, but it was very juvenile to me. So Afterlife of Polly Chase by Cynthia Hand was a no-go, but I did pick it up and read it.
This next section will probably be appreciated by my friend Liv from Liv's Library because she loves fantasy. So I do have 3 fantasy books on this list, and the first one is one of her favorites, and it's The Night Circus by Erin Morgenstern.
I have not read The Night Circus by Erin Morgenstern, so that is number 5 under did not read. Maybe I'll read it this year. I do still really want to get to this one. I think it just intimidates me because so many people love it, and I'm worried that I won't. So we'll see what's next.
I need to get to this one mostly because I really want to get to this one.
Okay, so obviously I wanted to read The Starless Sea too, but that did not count towards my 22 books. I just included it in there. I didn't read either one though.
Next is Sorcery of Thorns, which I also need to read with Ashley Teagan from the
Okay, so Sorcery of Thorns has been one of the longest books on my TBR, and I still haven't read it. So that's 6 books that I did not read. We're not doing so hot. I mean, I guess I did read 4 books. Did I finish all of those books? No. But did I read them? Yes. So this one intimidates me also. I really want to love it, but I'm not sure if I will or not. So I haven't read Sorcery of Thorns yet, but hopefully it ends up being one that I enjoy. If I do not read it this year, which I'm pretty sure I said last year, if I didn't read it, I was unhauling it. I'm sticking to my guns this year and saying that if I don't read this book, as well as a lot of books that I didn't read off of last year's list or books that have just been sitting on my shelves for a long time, the rest of them are going to go.
Last fantasy that I want to get to is Strange the Dreamer by Laini Taylor.
Okay, Strange the Dreamer by Laini Taylor I ended up unhauling. So I did not read it, but I unhauled it. So I feel like that's good because... Is it good that I didn't read it? No, but it's no longer on my shelves anymore, like I said. I don't know if that is going to be the duology for me, so I decided to unhaul it. There are way too many books out there that I'm looking forward to getting to try to read a thick fantasy book that I'm not even sure if I'm going to enjoy, so I did unhaul this one.
Next, I have some middle grade. So the first one is The Girl Who Speaks Fair by Sophie Anderson.
I did not read The Girl Who Speaks Fair by Sophie Anderson. This is the same author that wrote The House with Chicken Legs, which I read a couple years ago and actually reread this past year also. So does that count for this? Probably not, but that is a really cute book. I think I gave it 5 stars the first time I read it, 4 stars the next time that I read it, so I didn't enjoy it as much. But Sophie Anderson has 2 other books in this like companion series. The Girl Who Speaks Fair is the next one. So I really did want to read this one, but I didn't get around to it, so I did not read another one. Did I make a mark? I don't remember if I made a mark for this one. I guess if I didn't, then I can just go back through at the end and figure out. But you guys know if I did or not because you were watching, hopefully. But I don't know if I made a mark for that or not, so I'm just going to hold off.
I also need to get to The Cavendish Home for Boys and Girls by Claire Legrand.
The Cavendish Home for Boys and Girls by Claire Legrand has been on my Goodreads TBR the longest of any other book. So it is my book that's sat on my TBR the longest. I did not read this book. And hopefully I'll read it this year. This is not going so well.
And then the last middle grade is Winter House by Ben Gooderson.
I did read that one. Okay, so I read Winter House by Ben Gooderson. This is the first book in a middle grade winter trilogy. It is so cute. It's like a little bit of a mystery too, and it is so good. I am hoping to read the next couple books this year as well because I don't want the story to just sit for so long that I forget what it was about. But this is a win for me, so it's about time because it was getting a little bit too like heavy on the did not read end.
Yes, this is going to come as a bit of a surprise, so I don't read a lot of classics, but I do have some classics on my shelves. So what I want to do is read 2 classics this year. That can be children's classics or like adult classics.
Oh,
so
I think I read one.
5 classics, and I'm going to show you guys these 5 classics, and I want you to tell me 2 of them down in the comments that you think I should read this year.
So as long as I read 2 of these, I'm good.
Is probably one that's going to be a priority for me, so this may just be one of them, and then you guys can help me pick the next one. The first one is The Secret Garden by Frances Hodgson Burnett.
I did read The Secret Garden, so I do get to mark that as read. And this book was such a good read for me that I ended up giving it 5 stars. And it also led me to pick up 5 or 6 other books that were Secret Garden retellings, adaptations, reimaginings, anything like that. And I've just fallen in love with this story. So this was a huge win for me, which is so surprising because it was a classic. But I do find that I tend to enjoy children's classics more than I do adult classics.
Other options that I have are all like classic adult books. Well, actually, hold on. This one is not adult, I don't think. It may be kids. This is The Arabian Nights, selected and edited by Andrew Lang.
I did not read The Arabian Nights.
Then I also have Rebecca by Daphne du Maurier, which I believe is a more modern classic.
I did not read Rebecca, but I really wish that I would have. So I don't think I read any more of these, so I'm going to have like a did not read
I did watch the movie. I have a couple of horror classics. I guess they're horror. I don't know. One of them I think is more sci-fi. Anyway, so I have Dracula by Bram Stoker and Frankenstein by Mary Shelley.
I did not read Frankenstein or Dracula, so I have 1 mark against me again on did not read because I gave 5 options and I had to read at least 2, so I only read 1. I don't know, how many books are we at right now? 5, 10, 15, 16, I think. We're at 16, so that means I have 6 more left, I think. No, I have 7 left, I think. Hopefully I've been counting right.
Okay, we are down to the last 6 books. The next ones are going to be authors that I've...
Okay, wait, if we have 6 books left, then that means I didn't mark earlier on The Girl Who Speaks Bear, right? 5, 10, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. No, I did mark it. Okay, I was just making sure. You guys, if only this were live, you could have screamed at me and said, yes, you marked it, but I didn't know. Now I do. So I do have 6 books left. Hopefully those 6 books will redeem me.
The first one being Shauna Maguire. So I have read Shauna Maguire's Wayward Children.
Okay, I did not read Middle Game, and I ended up unhauling it because I decided that I didn't think I was going to enjoy it. I do love Shauna Maguire's Wayward Children series, but this is a little bit more sci-fi or heavily in fantasy and stuff, and I'd read the first couple of pages and I just wasn't really vibing with the writing. So technically it wasn't a DNF because I didn't really get into reading it. I just kind of tried it out, so I wouldn't count it as a DNF that I read it or anything like that. I would just say I didn't read it, but I did unhaul it, and I think that is good because it's off my shelves. So I think any of these that I mark as unhaul, I'm probably going to end up saying that counts for me because at least I did something actively with the book.
Then, of course, this should come as no surprise, I have another Jennifer McMahon book on my list.
Oh, Keisha. Oh, Keisha. So not only did I not read Burntown, my friends are screaming at me. I also didn't read Children on the Hill last year. I read no books from one of my favorite authors last year. So this is shameful. I deserve to mark did not read on this because it is shameful that I did not read a Jennifer McMahon book.
I'm just going to say like the author's name, and then I want you guys to help me pick which book, which I feel like I know what you guys are going to say. But I have read Katrina Leno quite a bit. I've read Horrid, I've read Summer of Salt, and I've read The Half-Life of Molly Pierce, and I own 3 of her other books as well. So I have You Must Not Miss, which I feel like this is
I didn't read You Must Not Miss, and I'm pretty sure I didn't read anything from this author last year.
And then I also have some more of her backlist. I have Everything All at Once, 24 Days, 3 Weeks, Pet Delete.
I did not read Everything All at Once.
I have The Lost and Found. It says sometimes you have to get lost before you can be found.
I did not read The Lost and Found either. I didn't read any Katrina Leno last year, but I still really need to read more from her because I do have a lot of her books on my shelf. I read Horrid by her and really enjoyed that. I also read Summer of Salt and enjoyed that one. I feel like I may have read something else by her, but I'm not sure. I just really like her writing, so I definitely need to try to get through some of these. So those were 3 books, but it's only going to count against me one time because I was asking for people to pick which one of those they would like to see me read. So that counts 1 against me again.
I'm going to end off with something that scares the mess out of me to do. But I have 3 5-star predictions on my list. These are 3 books that I will absolutely get to this year. They are 3 books that have been recommended to me.
Did you hear that I said I will absolutely get to these this year? If I didn't get to these 3, we got a problem.
They're 3 books that my friends have read and loved, and I'm pretty sure they have been rated 4 or 5 stars. Okay. So these are my 3 5-star predictions for the year that I'm terrified if I say this will not be 5 stars, but we're going to hope and pray that they are. So the first one is Nevermore by Jessica
Olivia from Liv's Library is screaming at me right now. I have not read, look at my face. She knew that it wasn't going to happen. I have not read Nevermore. You will see Nevermore again because it is going to get read. It is, hopefully this year, but oh man, this is embarrassing.
This book is Rules for Vanishing by Kate Alice Marshall.
Oh my gosh, Keisha. I didn't read Rules for Vanishing by Kate Alice Marshall either. I did do a try chapter with it, and I do still think that it could be a 5-star and that I'll really love it, but I did not pick it up. Man, this is my track record. It's terrible.
And the last 5-star prediction I'm definitely terrified about. So Lauren and I were buddy reading.
Okay. Mexican Gothic by Sylvia Moreno Garcia. I did read that. So, yay, 1 more win for me. Did I give it 5 stars? No, I did not. I gave it 4, but I think after sitting on it, I'd probably give it like a 3.5. I loved this author's writing, but this story, and I love weird stories, but I did not like the weird that this story went to. So, that's that. Okay, so I have 5, 10, 15, 22. So I got all 22 books. So, wow, this is not great. So, should I really be doing this again this year? Probably not. Am I going to do it anyways? Of course. So I ended up having 15 books that I did not read off of my 22 books for 2022. And I had 7 books that I did read, but I did unhaul 3 books. So this is what we're going to do. We're going to subtract 3 from that. And so that way it's kind of more even because I did do something with the book. So even though, it's not the same number, or actually, hold on, we're not going to subtract. We're going to add 3 books to my read. And we're just going to say I read 10 and I didn't read 15. So that makes me feel a little bit better to say that. There's 10 books that I did something with. So we're going to say that because it makes me feel better. This year, better go better. I don't know if it will or not, but I am still going to do 23 books for 2023. I do have a fun way that about half of the books were picked for me. So I will share that in my next video whenever you guys see those 23 books. I am going to continue, and hopefully this year will go better than last year. If not, I may not continue to do this. I don't know. Will I? We'll see. But this is my sign to actually read the books. Now, did I read a lot of books last year? Of course I did. I read 107 books last year, and I did read a lot of books that I already owned. I just didn't read these particular 22 books that I'd set out to read. Now, to make this even more fun, I'm giving you guys control over my 23 books for 2023. So you are going to know 1 possibility of books at least. So what I want you guys to do, and you only have 24 hours to do this, so hopefully you guys are watching this now, but if you are watching and you saw any of the books on this list that I did not read, so remember there were 15 books on this list that I did not read. Out of those 15, I want you to pick one of those books for me to read this year. Now, obviously, it can't be one of the books that I unhauled, so technically, there's only going to be 12 books on this list. So out of those 12 books, I want you to pick one for me to read. Okay, I went back and I wrote down just to remind you guys what the 12 books were that I still own and I didn't read. So we have Frankenstein, Dracula, Rebecca, a Katrina Leno book, either Everything All at Once, The Lost and Found, or You Must Not Miss. Then we have Burntown by Jennifer McMahon, Nevermore by Jessica Townsend, The Cavendish Home for Boys and Girls by Claire Legrand, Watching You by Lisa Jewell, The Flat Share by, I forgot that author, Beth O'Leary, The Unhoneymooners by Christina Lauren, Rules for Vanishing by Kate Alice Marshall, The Girl Who Speaks Fair by Sophie Anderson, and that's it. So if you would like to drop down in the comments and let me know which one of those books you would like to see me read in 2023, or that you would like for me to add to my 2023 books, or my 23 books for 2023, then you can go ahead and do that. The book that has the most votes will be on that list. Now, if you pick a certain book, it might overlap with a book that is already on that list. I have no way of controlling that, but if it does, that just means might be that much more likely to read it. Who knows? But go ahead and let me know down in the comments which book you would like to see me read. And if you made it this far in the video, go ahead and leave me an open book emoji, because I do need to read these books. So thank you guys so much for watching. I love you all so much, and I will see you in my next video. Bye, friends.